The disappearance of Melinda Borden. The disappearance of Melinda still remains an unsolved history. It's a cold case file. Oral history, as told by the elders, is that she was an unlisted passenger aboard the Titanic. She was traveling as a personal caregiver with a European contractor. April 1912, the Titanic hit an iceberg. I thought about jumping overboard, says Melinda, but I was too scared. Then I thought about sliding down the ropes, but oh my God, they were shooting at all black faces in sight, nor will they give us life jackets. Then the water forced me into the sea. I swam towards European lifeboat, but they pushed me away. Then a big, large wave grabbed me and it forced me. It twisted me around like I was dancing. Of course, my ancestors continued to search. They used dancing to tell the stories. They told it through folklore. They told it through history. They danced and they danced. And they continued to search and search for me. But I remains lost at sea forever. But you know what? Our ancestors always come back to tell you can't keep our history hidden from us.
Court. So what law are you talking about you made? See, what is he talking about doing?
But the Massachusetts Supreme Court
$14
said
million
this.
Out of the George Floyd settlement. The family got 14. Well, after all of the expenses got paid, they got a bit less, quite a bit less. So that didn't go up and make any law. So you've got these other cases. Which one have you taken to trial and had to go through an appellate process where law is made behind it? It's called ambulance chase. That's what
Muhammad
call it.
I think is germane to the arguments that you make before the United Nations. The case went all the way to the Supreme Court of Massachusetts, and what the court recognized is something we cannot ignore, that institutions cannot separate themselves from the harm that they help create, and that harm does not disappear with time. And then the final point is just this. Global alignment calls for reparations to evolve from moral arguments to economic architecture. I say, sisters and brothers, justice still delayed is not simply justice being denied, but it is justice being actively resisted by present-day actors.
Stop being such a damn hypocrite and talk about those Ghanaians and their part in the slave trade. And why aren't you advocating that they pay reparations and pay out restitution? Oh, you could do something about it. Why don't you?
Are unapologetic in their white supremacist beliefs. Sisters and brothers, we must be unapologetic defenders of Black life, Black liberty, and Black humanity. And it starts with this resolution before the United Nations. Thank you.
He did this George Floyd thing, and the people that live over by the cupcake shop can get no emergency services. Ambulances won't come in there. The police won't come in there. They have stretcher bearers who volunteer to pick up people who broken legs, had heart attacks, been assaulted, whatever, and carry them quite a long distance to areas outside of the immediate environment of the cupcake shop, so emergency services can pick them up, put them in an ambulance, and transport them to a hospital. He is the one that talked a lot of smack, and the police pulled out of the area, and now homicides are rife, assaults are rife, rapes are rife over there, and the citizens are angry because they have no police protection anymore. Did you think about that?
Right. And so now I'm going to play.
And one other thing, I well researched what went on with the slave trade, and to see that Ghanaian get up there and talk that sleazy mess now, like they didn't have a part to do with it, and start talking about what.
You know what? I'm loving it. I wish the judge would have been behind that mic at the UN. Man, did we need you up there. Your voice, Judge. All right, you guys. He is eating Al Sharpton up chicken, Georgia, whatever you call him. This is the real Dana, Judge Joe Brown.
He makes me want to vomit. If anybody ought to be slapped with reparations, they ought to, because they started the pipeline.
Sure did.
So this is Al Sharpton speaking.
Chicken George.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to say about Ghana. If he was really serious, that's where he would have started with FBAs, giving us reparation. I did read where they do though. The Democrats give Ghana. One page I read, it was $150 million. Was it per year or something like that, you guys? But so people are speaking out. Wow, everybody is tuning into this. Let's just see what Ursula says. She said, foundational Black America has been speaking on how disrespectful. I mean, they are totally disrespectful. Let me start all over, y'all. Foundational Black America have been speaking on how disrespectful these Africans are. Now, everyone sees the truth. Yes, very disrespectful, right? Martin Hewlin says, I am a foundational Black American, and African leaders do not speak for me. That's right, sister. And you know what? That's the attitude that everybody should have here. They don't speak for us. Did y'all know that at that conference at the UN, Al Sharpton is deeming himself the Attorney General for Black people and the Civil Rights Leader for Black people, y'all. And they said it. That's how they announced Al Sharpton. So, but I'm with you, Martin Hill. I'm a foundational Black American, and African leaders do not speak for me. And even these Bouye leaders. Yes. Cool says the Black Bouye. Being the Black Bouye. And that sums it is. Al Sharpton just gonna be Al Sharpton. Crump just gonna be Crump. And that's just how it is. The Bouye. All they do is think about themselves. What's in it for me? The Black Bouye.
The fount of this, Reverend Al Sharpton, who is for 4 decades a central figure in
God damn Sharpton. And remember all of the lies he got involved in when he first got national claim after his mentor, James Brown, sponsored him, which is why he gassed his hair so long when he used to be fat. Do you remember that?
I remember that, but the only reason why I paused there right now, who said that Ben Crump or Al Sharpton was the Attorney General for Black America.
Hell if I know.
Did you catch her what she said?
I heard that.
Yeah, so I'm just like, they're not. So
they're not.
Yeah.
And I look at this, the National Bar Association at one time had 85,000 members. Thanks to what he did as chair some years ago, we're now down to, I think, 2,400 dues-paying members from 80-some thousand.
The U.S. struggle for racial justice from the streets to the Senate, a civil rights leader, founder of the National Action Network.
Stop. Civil rights leader. What civil rights laws did he get implemented anywhere where he led any kind of demonstration? That's, the villain. Reverend Jesse Jackson. Oh, that's one of those villains, H. Rap Brown. Oh, that's one of those villains, Stokely Carmichael. Oh, that's one of those dead villains that got assassinated, Malcolm X. That's one of those dead villains that got assassinated, Dr. Martin Luther King. That's one of those dead villains that got assassinated, Medgar Evers. All of these people, don't you dare open your mouth and put your terminology out there where you're supposed to be put in that select group, because that ain't it.
Politics Nation, please take the floor.
Thank you very much. Let me start by saying that I'm going to be very personal in the sense that I came to the UN 30 some odd years ago with a great African leader. I was part of the delegation with Nelson Mandela when he was
always in somebody's presence. Always.
About sanctions in South Africa. I come many times since then, and I'm here today because I believe another great African leader, President Muhama, is raising an issue that is very important and personal to us. As Attorney Crump has said, we have fought on many cases, and I'm doing a eulogy tomorrow, day after tomorrow, of a young man killed in Hartford, Connecticut. But all of these are just
stop. Why did you pick the young man killed in Hartford, Connecticut, when there are thousands of young men killed all over this country? You're just going to pimp the circumstances. See, that's what I despise.
Of a systemic problem that has not been dealt with. We can keep running from incident to incident, but if we do not deal with the underlying systematic problem, and that is that there are those that feel they have the right and the supremacy over other humans, and they will never be held accountable for it and never pay for it. This resolution is an attendance sheet on what nations stand for what.
Okay, that's the issue. When are you going to call Ghana out on their part in the slave trade? A big part.
I had a new call. I come out of the Martin Luther King School of Thought, but Malcolm X said we may have to go to the UN. One of his main disciples was Dr. James Small.
You're trying to associate yourself with Dr. Martin Luther King, who put himself in harm's way and died, and you ain't done nothing but eat out of a bucket of KFC chicken.
Is with us. Queen Mother Moore said this. Queen Mother Blakely's here. Sister, I don't come with others that have not. Sister Salam, these are people that have been in the streets for decades.
You haven't. Except out there, you guys know you want to hold hands and sing "We Shall Overcome." And ain't done a damn thing otherwise except sit there and try to pimp circumstances. And we know from the New York Post what they call you. You were the snitch, weren't you?
And senators, state senators, all of us, but many of them preceding me. The question is not what the people feel. The people have stated their feelings and will continue to and must galvanize. The question is, what do nations stand for? When I hear nations saying they're going to abstain from a vote, how do you abstain from being a racist and a bigot? How do you abstain from taking your debt?
Stop. Because maybe they're smart enough to realize somebody's trying to pimp the circumstances, and they don't really want to get to the bottom of it while they're pimping, because how much did they get under the table from Ghana? See, if they weren't getting something under the table, or they weren't trying to pimp the circumstances in the event they weren't getting a little dash under the table, they'd call Ghana out. Why not?
People that you worked for centuries and never paid. How do you abstain from the guilt and the blood that's on their hands while you deposit money in banks?
Damn good question. How in the hell do you get away with that, except you got a bunch of chicken pimps like you who go around and say that they are trying to represent the interests you claim to be representing, which you're not, because you're pimping them. Where's your congregation?
Our forefathers didn't earn, and our forefathers worked and never got paid. Your Excellency, I say it's personal because in 2007, a reporter came to me from a local tabloid, the Daily News, and said that they were doing something around Black History Month in America. And they wanted to do a trace of our family tree. I told him, fine with me. He said, I'll be back. He came back with another reporter. He said, do you know your great-grandfather? I said, no, I knew my grandfather on my father's side. I didn't know my great-grandfather. He said, well, we traced him. He said, do you know where he was from? I said, they were from Florida, my grandfather and my father. He said, no, they were from Edgefield, South Carolina. I said, no, I never knew that. He said, your great-grandfather was named Coleman Sharpton, and he was owned by a woman named Anna Thurman Sharpton. He said Anna Thurman Sharpton was the aunt to Strom Thurmond, a leading segregationist. He said the reason we found it is that when Alexander Sharpton died, his widow, Anna Thurman, sold her slaves to Florida, who was your great-grandfather. That's only 3 generations from me. We talk about this stuff like this is some bygone generation. My mother had to sit in the back of the bus and couldn't help me with homework when she came to Brooklyn, New York, had me. I never sat in the back of a bus, but I was raised by them that never got paid for what was done. We are sitting in the United Nations, but it is in the United States where they're right now deciding whether they will continue to allow us to vote properly.
No, you're not going there with that bullshit. You were upset because every thug that's got a driver's license is supposed to have stolen it from DMV or something. And like good folk who want to go out and vote, they can't get the same driver's license that the thugs got, that the pimps have, that the drug dealers have. What's the matter with you? Are you saying that the people you're supposed to be representing are too stupid to get what everybody else can get? Oh, or is that part of that little helpless game you keep trying to encourage everybody to get put in their heads so they psych themselves out? Sounds like you are a creature of the power structure that you were trying to castigate, and they put you up to it to give you credibility so the fools listen to you when you try to sell them down the river.
We are going to have our right to voting, our right to redress.
And if the United Nations sends a
Wait a minute, stop, fool. The issue is not whether you have the right to vote. The issue is whether somebody subverted that and filled out some false ballots and submitted them to alter the vote count so the people that did vote get their votes negated. Dana, isn't that what's going on down in Georgia right now? There's a more bullshit
message on the president's resolution that we don't care about the debt owed. You are signaling those that are trying to trump the world that you can do whatever you want to do to us.
And you want to let somebody do whatever they want to do for us? Oh, you one of them sissy fools that doesn't fight back. Oh, you just got a little big mouth that you run all the time. Mm-hmm.
So my challenge is, and the experts have given the great background and the preceding speakers have given the facts, but my appeal is that you will not define our humanity. You will define where you stand for humanity.
Well, you don't define my humanity. You're too big a fool to do that. Plus, you're a pimp. And you're getting used. And you've been bought off. So why would somebody like me listen to you talk this stupid nonsense? And again, when you gonna call out Ghana for doing what they did?
Vote for your nation. History will record that after the genocide perpetrated on people, after the worst form of abuse that we've seen in terms of the slave trade that is in this resolution, that if your nation would authorize you to either vote no or have laryngitis and act like you can't speak up at all, then you are co-signing this brutal form of slavery. There will be nobody that will duck being called on the carpet tomorrow. Either you stand for justice or you sit with the unrighteous. Either you stand... Either you stand for justice or you're part of the problem. Either you stand for those that want to be free or you're just as bad as the slave masters that held us bondage. Thank you.
There was an individual known to history as Quisling. Quisling, the individual's name, became associated with a type of somebody who undercuts his own people for the benefit of others. Sharpton is a Quisling. And he keeps perpetrating that